The first Omen is a prequel to the 1976 film The Omen, directed by Richard Donner. And the film follows an American nun who is sent to work at a Catholic orphanage in Rome who uncovers a sinister conspiracy to bring about the birth of the Antichrist. Now, I did not see this movie in theaters because I don't know anything about the Omen film. I didn't know there was a I didn't watch any of the Omen movies until I never heard of the Omen franchise, any of these movies until like last month when I was like binge watching a bunch of horror like Halloween movies. But yeah, like this past, Halloween season, I binge watched all of the Omen movies. And you guys know I already posted my reviews. Am pretty The Omen franchise, I feel very underwhelmed. I wasn't, satisfied. I thought they were pretty mediocre mid movies. The third film, the final conflict, it was pretty bad. The Awakening was an abomination and atrocious of a film. The 2006 one was fine, but the 2006 remake was fine. Um, and it was a fine remake, but it is a better remake than like Rob Zombie's Halloween, the two Halloween films. Um, the 2009 remake of Friday the 13th, and the 2010 remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street. But it was still mediocre. And I saw this movie. I didn't see this movie in theaters. I saw this movie on Hulu. I think it was Hulu. I don't think it's Disney Plus because Disney Plus would not allow this type of film on their PG uh streaming service. So I'm pretty sure it's Hulu. And I sat down and I watched this movie, and guys, finally, finally, we have a good Omen movie. And this film is directed by Arkasha Stevenson. I think that's how you pronounce her first name, but she did a great job directing this film. And also, like, it's so funny because I recently, last week, I watched this movie titled Immaculate, and it stars Sydney Sweeney. And guys, dude, like there were so much similarities between Immaculate and this film, The First Omen. Both of them share a similar premise and a common Italian setting, and both films were released about the same time. And they both of them were dubbed as twin films, and they explore the issue of a female bodily autonomy, depicting the systematic control of women's bodies reduced to vessels. And it's so funny because I felt like after I watched Immaculate, I watched this film like back to back. Like back to back because it was like a recommendation. It was like a recommendation. After I finished watching Immaculate, this film was like a recommendation. So I was like, okay, why not? And yeah, like there's so much similarities, but that's a good thing because I really enjoyed Immaculate. It's not a great movie, it's not a perfect movie by far, but really in that film Immaculate was really enjoyable. I had a fun time, and well, a fun scary time. And Sweeney, oh my god, her performance in that movie was just powerful and impactful. But yeah, finally, guys, we have a good Omen movie. I I would go far ahead and say that I prefer the first Omen, this film, over the original one directed by Richard Donner. And I love Richard Donner. I mean, come on, he directed the Christopher Reeve Superman films, but this film, like it, the story the direction, the acting is all of it is way better than the original film. Um, it's very frightening, and I love, like I said, I love Stevenson's her direction in this film. She was able to her direction in this film was very well balanced between, you know, it was between, light and dark tones, if that makes any sense. I love the aesthetics that she used, and the film used. It's very artful, it's striking, and just amazing. It's bravo, bravo work, done by the director, by Stevenson. Um, and yeah, um, I do, she, like Stevenson, she really leans very heavily on the old horror staple of female hysteria and the explanation behind the plot of to spawn a tiny antichrist. And she did a great job. You know, um, yeah, like I think it's better. I think this film, I mean, no, actually, I can't think of any issues. Maybe a couple nitpick, maybe one or two like nitpicks, but that's pretty much it. Finally, we have a good Omen movie, and I hope 20th Century Studios, Fox. I hope they and the director Stevenson continue to work with each other, and the acting is really good too, especially by Nell Tiger Free, who plays the American nun in this film, um, and also Ralph Inson. I'm pretty sure I mispronounced his last name, but both of them did a great job. They are the two highlights and the standouts of this film. But I hope to see more of. I hope Stevenson continues to direct more Omen films, and she stays with this franchise going forward, because this is a really good film. Finally, a good Omen movie. It took all these years and all these decades and all this time, but we finally got a good one, and it was well executed and planned out. But guys, that's all I have to say for the first Omen. Thank you so much for taking time to listening to my review, my thoughts. Please like, excuse me. Please like and subscribe. Definitely subscribe, because that would help me a lot. That would help me a lot. Yeah, and I'm thankful for that. I appreciate that, and I love you guys. I'll see you in my next video. Thanks.